Kinds of Kindness is in limited release and expands this weekend because nothing says summer like a Yorgos Lanthimos anthology movie. This video is brought to you by The Perfect Gene. Go to theperfectgene.nyc and use code DAN15 for a special offer, and stay tuned after the video for more info. Hello everybody, I'm Dan Murrell here with my review of Yorgos Lanthimos' latest film, Kinds of Kindness, which is being released less than a year after his last movie, the Oscar-winning Poor Things, although I'm sure the delay due to the strikes helped that. Lanthimos re-teams with longtime collaborator and co-writer Efthimis Philippou for the first time since the killing of a sacred deer in 2017. And as I mentioned in the opening, Kinds of Kindness is an anthology film. It's split between 3 narratives, and over its 2 hours and 45 minutes, Lanthimos spins 3 separate tales of love, control, mystery, manipulation, and sex, all through the twisted lens that we've come to expect from him as a writer-director, although this movie does not feature the literally twisted fisheye lens that we've seen in a lot of his more recent work. Yorgos Lanthimos is one of those directors that is very much your thing or very much not your thing, and I found generally that his movies tend to be my thing, although, as with most directors, I respond to some of his movies more than others. I just love his singular style, and I respond to his frequent use of monotone, deadpan humor, delivered by actors talented enough to deliver it properly without looking like bad actors.
My name is Rebecca King. I am 29 years old. I majored in literature and now work in the human resources department of a multinational company. But that's not important.
Kinds of Kindness, more so than any of his other films, I think contains all of the multitudes of Yorgos Lanthimos as an artist, both good and bad. And when you mix that with the anthology format, I think that's why this film feels like a little bit more of a mixed bag. Because when you're doing anthology, if one of the segments of your movie doesn't work, well then that's a whole chunk of your movie that doesn't work. One of the things that's not uneven, though, is the cast, and when you look at the cast list, that's really no surprise. The ensemble here includes Emma Stone, Willem Dafoe, and Margaret Qualley from Poor Things, along with Jesse Plemons, Mamoudou Athie, Hong Chow, and Joe Alwyn, all taking on a different role in each segment. And Jesse Plemons, in particular, won Best Actor at Cannes for Kinds of Kindness for a good reason. He anchors 2 of these 3 segments, while Stone takes a main role in 2 of them as well, and Dafoe plays critical parts in all 3. All of the other actors get their turn in the spotlight throughout the different segments. And one of the things that's important with the cast, especially in a movie like this, is rhythm. It's why Yorgos Lanthimos' films work, and he knows how to cast actors that are able to operate inside of this very specific tone. And this one is a lot more like the tone you saw in The Lobster and The Killing of a Sacred Deer, right down to the smallest actor in the smallest part, to the point where you look at some of these performances and you're not quite sure if they're meant to be borderline bad or if that's just the actor doing what that specific actor does. That's sort of part of the fun of dissecting Yorgos Lanthimos' movies. Usually anthology movies will put their best segment first to grab the audience's attention, and I did find the first segment of Kinds of Kindness to be the best. Plemons plays a married man who allows Willem Dafoe to control his life to an alarming degree, and it feels like Lanthimos at his best.
Skinny men are the most ridiculous thing there is. We've gone over this before. You must put on a few pounds. I told you that last time.
But I have.
You most certainly have not. You're even skinnier now.
The humor hits throughout hand in hand with the bizarre nature of the story, and this one really is Plemons' time to shine, even though he's great in the other segments, as a man who's desperate to keep his life from spinning out of control. This is also the segment with the least amount of Emma Stone, with Hong Chow, Willem Dafoe, Margaret Qualley, and Jesse Plemons really taking the lead here. The second segment has the most intriguing setup. Plemons plays a husband worried that something may be very wrong with his wife, who's played by Stone, after she returns from an extended absence. And even though I liked the setup a lot, I really felt like the payoff was the most disappointing of the 3 segments. I loved the journey, but I wasn't really quite sure if it was worth the destination. The third segment, I think, is where the movie makes its biggest misstep. It's the longest, I think, or at least it felt like the longest. Plemons and Stone play 2 people looking for someone with a special power, which is a good premise, but it meanders and is the least focused of the 3 segments and the slowest. That would be rough in a 100-minute anthology movie, but Kinds of Kindness runs about 165 minutes, about 2 hours and 45 minutes long, and I feel like in this third segment, the movie just slowly deflates. I saw this in a sold-out crowd, and I felt like you could just feel the energy leave the room throughout this third segment until everybody just kind of stood up and walked out silently as the credits rolled. There was laughter, there was that kind of audience buzz for the first 2/3, or at least the first two segments of the movie, but not so much with this one. Maybe not in production, but definitely in post-production, Kinds of Kindness feels like Yorgos Lanthimos' post-Oscars spend your creative capital movie, because let's be honest, nobody at Searchlight is going to hassle him over the runtime when they're looking at his 11 nominations and 4 wins for Poor Things just a few months ago. I think that filmmakers can indulge themselves. Quentin Tarantino has made an entire career out of it. But the problem becomes when the film feels indulgent. And that was the problem with Kinds of Kindness. I still love Yorgos Lanthimos, and I love his tone, and I love pieces and moments of this movie, but it feels like he just tried to sustain it for far too long. If I were going to rate the segments individually, I'd rank the first segment See It Now, the second segment in the It's Good category, and the third segment Not a Fan. And when you combine all those scores and factor in the movie's runtime, I'm settling in the It's Fine range for Kinds of Kindness. The 2 hour, 45-minute length is what really holds the movie down and had it flirting with the Not a Fan rating. And honestly, I would have bumped the rating up with these same segments if the movie overall had just been shorter. But that's just not where we are with Kinds of Kindness. However, it is undeniably an interesting film, and as with most movies of its type, I think it's going to find some big fans, but also some big detractors. So those are my thoughts on Kinds of Kindness. What do you think? Are you excited to see it? Have you already seen it? Let me know down in the comments below. And before we go, I want to thank the sponsor for this video, The Perfect Jean.
I have a confession to make. I'm not very kind to my blue jeans. I wear them year-round in every season and every kind of weather and for pretty much every kind of activity, and I've spent years looking for the perfect jeans. Well, it turns out they were right under my nose, because the perfect jean actually makes the perfect jeans. They're great looking, perfect fitting jeans that are stretchy where they need to be and tight where you want them to be, and that perfect fit means you're not endangering any, critical equipment just so you can look good. The perfect jean has 6 fits from skinny to thick, with waist sizes from 26 to 50 and lengths from 26 to 38, so they've got the perfect size for you. And they always have free shipping, exchanges, and returns, so you can have peace of mind knowing that your order is completely risk-free. You know those jeans that you wash first and wear almost as soon as they're out of the dryer? That's the perfect jean for me. Whether I'm going out, staying in, or just walking around, I always know that I'll be comfortable, and hey, I'm gonna look decent too, at least from the waist down. The flannel shirts, there's nothing you can do about that. It's finally time to stop crushing your family jewels in uncomfortable jeans by going to theperfectjean.nyc. Fans of the show get 15% off your first order, plus free shipping, free returns, and free exchanges when you use code DAN15 at checkout. That's 15% off for new customers at theperfectjean.nyc with promo code DAN15. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them, so please support the show and tell them that we sent you, F your khakis, and get the perfect jean. Thanks to The Perfect Jean for sponsoring this video, and thank you for watching. Be sure to stay tuned right here on the channel for more movie news, reviews, box office, and more. Until next time, stay safe, and I'll see you then. Bye.